So what's your name?
My name is Daniel Clavel. I'm the placement supervisor here at Animal Care and Protective Services.
All right, perfect. And how long have you been here?
A little over 2 years.
Perfect. And what drew you to this line of work?
I actually started doing rescue work when I was in the service, and have always kind of had a need to help animals. And I moved back here to Jacksonville in 2008, and through a bunch of rescue friends, they kind of told me about the job, and I applied and got it, and have been here ever since.
So what exactly does your position entail then?
I oversee all of our adoptions. I oversee our city licensing department, which obviously brings in revenue, and then I oversee our intake and our foster office. So basically all the animals coming in, all the animals currently with us, and all the animals going out the door.
How many animals are dropped off here on average per day, would you say?
Just alone today, we've had about 60 animals come in. So we have animals being brought in through our intake Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then we have animals that get brought in by all of our officers that are out in the field. We have 13 animal control officers, and they cover all of Duval County. Plus, we also take in animals from Neptune Beach, Jacks Beach, and Amelia Island sometimes. So between any of those areas and then obviously Duval County, we're constantly bringing animals in throughout the day.
The officers, I met Sean.
Mm-hmm.
So do they have enforcement powers?
So we don't have the abilities like JSO to write any criminal citations. We do civil citations. So we can obviously cite for animal cruelty, we can cite for neglect, we can cite for failure to have city licensing, which is one of the things that we obviously enforce here. Every animal in Duval County, as far as cat or dog, is required to have a Duval County city license, which covers the rabies vaccine. So we can enforce that as well.
Do you think the agents should have stronger enforcement powers? Would that make your job easier?
We're actually working on that. We're actually trying to get a lot more that we can cover just criminally, so that we can obviously enforce and ensure safety for all of our animals in Duval County.
And what's the worst case you think you've ever seen?
Last year we had a case of 84 animals that we had to bring in for cruelty and neglect. They were a supposed rescue, and they had these animals in cages that were too small or tied up or just severe lack of medical care, and we're talking 84 dogs that we had to take in and care for, and we were able to get a lot of them adopted out. Some of them were, unfortunately too unsocialized and feral that we possibly, could have tried to work with a lot more, and we did. We were able to find rescue for them, but a lot of them were really in bad shape, and we had to keep them here for a while just to get the medical care.
And I'm just wondering, is this a no-kill or?
So people have that misconception as far as what we do. So we are the city animal shelter. So we're the municipal shelter for Duval County. We are a kill agency, but we have achieved no-kill status. What that means is that 93% of our animals have a live release rate. So we don't euthanize for space. We don't simply euthanize because an animal's been here forever. We've actually had dogs here recently that have been here for over 365 days, so we don't euthanize for space. The only two reasons we euthanize right now are because of medical or severe aggression. Those are the only two reasons. So we've achieved no-kill status in that, but unfortunately we are still a kill shelter. So obviously with every person bringing their own pets to our shelter, if we ever get to a point where we're absolutely at max, we might have to get to that point where we have to euthanize for space. Fortunately, we haven't had to get there yet. We do have a lot of agencies that work with us as far as pulling animals through rescue and then obviously through adoptions and things like that.
Oh, that's so great. I was wondering if it was no kill, so.
Yeah, it's a good status. I mean, we've had it for now a total of 6 years, which is great. It's not very many shelters can say they do that. It's kind of a bad thing as well sometimes, because unfortunately, because people hear that no kill verbiage, they think they can just drop off their animals all the time, and unfortunately, if every person in Duval County brings their own pets to us, we won't be able to keep that status.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And how long has this facility been open?
We've been here now a total of 6 years. Yeah,
That's
we used
great.
to be off of McDuff, which was an old raggedy prison-like shelter, and we're now here at this beautiful facility.
And what's the most rewarding aspect of this job, would you say?
The adoptions.
The adoptions. And
Yeah.
how many do you say you have per day?
On average per day, anywhere between 15 and 20. Obviously right now with the hurricane from last week, We're still in recovery. We just got power back yesterday. So right now we're dangerously full. With not having animals leaving for the past 4 or 5 days, we're at a point where we're really trying to get adoptions, out the door and trying to get agencies to come and pull dogs from us right now, especially cats. Right now we have over 400 kittens in foster. So as those kittens become of age and healthy, we're getting them through our, surgery process and then getting them ready for adoption. So there's always an influx and there's always a rotation of animals coming in and going out the door.
And what were your precautionary measures for the hurricane?
So we were able to put a lot of our animals out in foster that needed additional attention, but because all of our animals are indoors, our biggest thing was just securing the building and obviously keeping us from flooding. So all of our kennels, all of our cage banks, everything that we have that houses all of our animals are either above water or in areas that aren't able to obviously get flooded out. So it was just securing the building around and ensuring that we kept them all safe here.
And did you have any flooding, or did the facility suffer any damage?
Fortunately, no. We actually had to spend the night here. We stayed here from Thursday until Sunday. We actually slept here at the shelter. So we had people around the clock monitoring the building and making sure that we weren't going to get to that point where we obviously had to evacuate.